Everyone, it's Footy Scout here. Just wanted to let you know I've put a new blog post up on www.footyscout.ca titled The South American Demise. The blog post pretty much summarizes why I feel the South American nations have struggled so much in this World Cup. They've essentially been overtaken by the European countries. It's one of the first times in living memory, at least in my experience, that I can remember a South American nation not making the semi-final of the World Cup. We've got 4 European nations in the semi-finals. I go into detail about 5 of the reasons I think this has happened, and I'll give you a few of them right now. One of the reasons is Europe has produced powerhouse players all over the continent. You look at the final 4 countries and you can name some of the best players in the world in each of those teams. Belgium, you've got Romelu Lukaku, Eden Hazard and Kevin De Bruyne. The 2 midfielders, probably 2 of the best in the world. They combine skill, intelligence and strength. You've got Romelu Lukaku, who's an absolute beast of a striker up front. He can handle anyone physically. You've got Croatia, who's got 2 of the most supremely gifted central midfielders in Rakitic and Luka Modric. I actually rate Luka Modric as one of the best central midfielders in the world right now. And then you've got England, who've got probably the best out-and-out goal scorer in the world right now in Harry Kane. He's leading the Golden Boot race. And then on top of that, you've got probably the strongest central back pairing in Harry Maguire and John Stones in the World Cup. There's a reason that Pep Guardiola chose John Stones to be the bedrock of his back line, where the ball is played out from the back. Those 2 are very underrated. And then finally, you've got France, probably strongest of the final 4. I'll just name a few of their players who everyone's aware of. Antoine Griezmann, Paul Pogba, 2 of the most diversely talented players within the World Cup right now. And then you've got the mercurial talent of Kylian Mbappe, the speed, the skill, the finesse to beat pretty much any backline he wants. Tomorrow's game and Wednesday's game are going to be fantastic spectacles. I also discussed the reason for this shift in power from continent to continent. Europe has spent a lot of time building academies throughout the continent. In England, they built St. George's, which is one of the main reasons that this England team has grown together and been able to make the semi-final of this World Cup. In France, they've had Clairefontaine for a long time now, which is why they've produced generation after generation of fantastic players. These academies are so integral to the success of the country's footballing culture. They pretty much embed that football culture from a young age and let kids grow with it until they're men and playing in the top teams in the world, and they bring that culture back to their nation's national team and every international opportunity. It's pretty much run like a corporation where you embed cultural values across your organization. The football academies do the same thing. You look at the nations, they all play very differently, but they've all got an identity. I also talk about how they instill the right values. Now, don't get me wrong, I do believe that European players dive and play act, but nowhere near as much as some of the South American players. You look at Neymar, one of the most technically gifted players in the world. He spent most of the World Cup on the ground, and it wasn't due to just physical battering that he took. Sure, he gets kicked a lot, but sure, a lot of other players do as well, such as Harry Kane against Colombia or Antoine Griezmann against every country he plays. So that's not an excuse. I think if Neymar channeled that mentality into just playing football the way he can, Brazil may have had a different outcome in this World Cup. Anyways, I get into a bit more detail in my blog post, so please go check it out. It's www.footyscout.ca. Let me know what you think. All comments are welcome. If you agree with me, great. If you don't, that's great as well. Everyone in football is entitled to their own opinion, and I'd love to hear it. Go check it out. Thanks a lot, Footy Scout.